I guess I didn't have it on shuffle. Wes, you there?
Oh, I've been here.
One more time.
I've been here.
I meant like your voice. Anyway, I was trying to see if I could hear you.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
If I ever fall in love again, sometimes when this broken heart can mend. Girl, I know it's gonna be with you. You're the one to pull me through, but I don't know when. Sorry.
All right.
I was rehearsing that one. I was practicing that one, but
all right. I'm looking at the stream right now. I'm just monitoring the health of it.
all right.
It looks like, yeah, it looks like we're live and audio is coming in all right. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the intro. What's going on, dear viewers? This is your gracious host, Kaine Walker, with another episode of the Monkey Paw, where we document the downfall of mainstream Western entertainment. And right now I'm joined with
West
West
Boy
Savage. Yeah.
Savage of the Derpy Redneck channel coming at you. And if you could not tell, I'm not as severely congested as I was. Like I said before, I think my bronchioli and my bronchioles and alveoli are a web of pussies because of how sensitive they are.
And Soups is actually just getting back from a trip to Iceland. So he won't be joining us tonight. But as usual, we got 3 topics prepared for you guys. And I'm going to figure out real quick which one I actually want to present first, because they're all pretty...
I can't
they're all
chuckle
pretty
like
bad.
Curly Howard yet, but I'll get there. No.
All right, I think I'll go ahead and start with the Tomb Raider situation.
Tomb Raider? Oh, God.
Yeah, because apparently that game was supposed to be, it was supposed to be returned to fans in its pretty much original state without any alterations. But it turns out there were some, and people were not happy about it. Trying to figure out why Chrome's not showing.
All I got to say is this. You apply it to business, you apply it to politics, you can apply it to basic economics, you apply it to whether you want to deny or acknowledge these things. Mandate of heaven's a motherfucker.
Oh, all right. And now it's not bringing up the page, even though I selected it before. There we go.
Fuck.
All right, so this first one's going to be from Bounty in the Comics. It says, despite promised games would appear in their original form, Tomb Raiders 1 through 3 remastered censors risque graphic upon Pierre's jacket. This is, and obviously, again, this ain't the first time we've encountered stuff like this, with the censorship of games from the past. Brought up Skullgirls a while ago, and it seems like this effect is just going to trickle down throughout the history of games from the past until there's pretty much nothing left of their original forms and the memories we once had about those games. But
except for the occasional pirates that'll be pursued after by the IP holders. But
oh,
a lot
yeah,
of people, that will still be true. Still, that will, for a lot of the public, that will still be true. What you said.
yeah, people can buy the rights to certain IPs, and like make faithful portrayals of certain things, but that's not going to be as common. Like,
no, and piracy will be a thing too. But again, not everyone's going to have access to that or know how to even do it. Now, a little disclosure. I'm not, for legal reasons, I will not advocate piracy because that would be stupid. Even though I am personally an IP abolitionist, the thing is, I'm not going to advocate something like that and get Kaine here in trouble or myself. That would, again, that's stupid.
Says here, Lara Croft learns of the ancient deity Teokan in Tomb Raider Remastered 2023 by Crystal Dynamics. In the latest example of don't trust anything a video game developer promised until you see it with your own eyes, despite the game's eye-rolling disclaimer informing players that the collected titles will be presented in their original form unaltered, it has been found that Tomb Raider 1 through 3 Remastered has censored a risque illustration found in the series' first entry. And then a related article, I'll skip that. As previously reported, upon booting up the newly released collection for the first time, players are greeted by a one-time content disclaimer informing them that though the original Tomb Raider games featured imagery that the developers, Crystal Dynamics, felt were offensive, they had ultimately chosen to present them without alterations. The games in this collection contain offensive depictions of people and cultures rooted in racial and ethnic prejudices, wrote the Marvel's Avengers developers. These stereotypes are deeply harmful, inexcusable, and do not align with our values at Crystal Dynamics. Rather than removing this content, we have chosen to present it here in its original form, unaltered, in the hopes that we may acknowledge its harmful impact and learn from it.
Lovely, more critical waffling. Thank you.
Again, they couldn't have just released the game without this in there. They just had to chime in.
They just had to pull that grip.
Every time.
Just had to.
Every time.
Swear to God.
Or at least that's what they claimed. Right? I'm not clicking this video. In reality, much to the dismay of the many who had taken the disclaimer at its word, while the specified racial and ethnic depictions were left untouched, the same could not be said of the distinctive graphic emblazoned on series antagonist Pierre DuPont's bomber jacket in the very first Tomb Raider. Appearing more as an Easter egg than anything else due to the fact that it is only viewable during those rare moments during his boss fights where the player is able to get behind him, the graphic in question features a completely nude woman, herself depicted in a pinup style pose, sitting underneath the text Lady Luck and its abbreviation LL. Pierre's original Lady Luck jacket, as seen on his defeated body in Tomb Raider 1996, Eidos Interactive. But in the version featured in the remastered collection, Lady Luck is instead seen wearing a red bikini. Further, the two red L's, which previously adorned the coat, have been replaced with the Greek symbol for Phi Tau. I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm sorry. It's unknown whether this is in reference to the binary star Phi Tauri or Pierre's college fraternity itself, also colored red. Not that it fucking matters. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. They changed some shit they should have.
It never matters, just like my existence.
A close-up of Pierre DuPont's censored jacket in Tomb Raider 1 through 3 Remastered 2023 Crystal Dynamics. In the interest of fairness, it is possible that the disclaimers promised that Tomb Raider 1 through 3 Remastered would be presented uncensored, only applied to the racial and ethnic stereotypes it specifically mentions, and not the admittedly too hot for general audiences jacket sported by Pierre. However, even if this was either developer's intention, the fact that they did not specifically clarify this detail to potential customers is nothing short of dishonest and sets a worrying new precedent in an industry that is already crumbling under the weight of its own continued hubris. Pierre's original Lady Luck jacket with the graphics bare nipples slightly blurred as seen in his model in Tomb Raider 1997 Eidos Interactive. Go ahead.
By the way, offensive to who? For Christ's sakes, in the same era, we had dudes and chicks gooning over titty jiggle physics from Dead or Alive. For Christ's sake, come on.
Do we have to bring up the bear sex scene from fucking from Baldur's Gate? That wasn't offensive.
Right? I guess not. Honk honk.
As of writing, neither Crystal Dynamics nor co-developer Aspyr Media have offered any public comment on this deceptive change to Lara Croft's debut adventure. Meanwhile, shoulder players wish to check out the remasters for themselves. Tomb Raider 1 through 3 Remastered is now available for purchase on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X/S platforms. That's another thing that I've been meaning to talk about. Why the fuck are the previous generation's consoles still relevant? Like, what's going on there? Normally, at this point, the previous generation's consoles would have been phased out completely. Like, what? Like, this next gen experience has been cancer. Like, cancer. Like, you buy a brand new console for absolutely no fucking reason. None. That's another topic we gotta explore. I gotta bring that shit up. Go ahead.
Right. we're talking more cancerous than my act, and I could get a genuine award for acting retarded in public and being believable.
He said he could win an Emmy. That shit was funny. An Emmy or an Oscar? Isn't it an Oscar for fucking acting?
I forgot which one. There's Golden Globe. There's an Oscar. There's the Emmy. I mean, I could. There was Nobel prizes for shit like that too at one point. But somebody bombed innocent people in the Middle East and immediately got a Nobel Peace Prize right after doing that, delegitimizing that whole thing. Not to mention names.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these comments. We got the first one.
They're rigged, folks. I'm saying they're rigged. Boo-hoo.
We got this first comment here by Angry Rodent. It says, okay, let's be serious. Who didn't expect this sort of thing? You can't trust the woke to keep their word. It's just not possible when your entire philosophy is based on deception, especially self-deception. Bunny with a keyboard replies, it's still important to keep a record of woke lies so that we can continue to show people the pattern and help them snap out of the left-wing propaganda. Followed by Justin. Go ahead.
Same with what James Lindsay's doing, which is just reading the shit out and then explaining what each thing means. Same with many others besides him, but him and Charles Pencourt and Miss Helen Pluckrose led the charge on that.
Yeah, that's kind of the point of this podcast too. Just like that's why I say we document the downfall of mainstream Western entertainment, because that's literally what's going on. Like every week, there's some new shit about some past property we grew up with getting fucked over.
Yep, it's all about that subversion shit for the revolution.
Justin Kakamo replies, I doubt that would ever happen. You would have to burn down the education system to get rid of the rainbow-haired activists. Game Allure. Go ahead.
You won't have to burn it down. You could take a lesson from Thomas Sowell and the late and great Walter E. Williams, rest his soul, and Milton Friedman. Bring it back into the people's hands directly. Let a bunch of choices. The public school system and the DOE for education will properly die because of a market. But that's why they don't want it. That's why you got Kalinsky and Packman lying through their teeth all the time about it. Because they know what they push would not be able to survive scrutiny.
No, it wouldn't be, because the market filters itself out. Undesirable services and products are immediately forgotten, and those businesses immediately fail. So
which is hilarious, because that's what they, the whole unfettered capitalism BS. It's bullshit. There's no such thing. It's self-fettering, if you will. It's called vote with your wallet. It's called smarten up. It's called be competent with yourself. It's called, bubble your head with reality, not against it.
I won't read many more comments. I guess it'll be these last two before I weigh in. Before I give closing thoughts on this first one. But we have Game Lord here says, think the modern scrutiny of ESRB. IDOS were more devoted to not changing the rating than not changing the actual game. Pierre Dupont isn't such a bad guy now that he's thoughtful enough to wear a family-friendly jacket. What does that make Laura Croft? Angry Rodent, the ESRB is a joke. Makeup of the very companies it's supposed to regulate. Made up, excuse me. So excuse me if I can't take them seriously at all, given the rampant conflict of interests it represents. Giggling Stoner. I like the part where they lie. I like the part where they lied about not changing anything. And
I wish I was stoned right now just to cope with all this cringe shit.
And thus dies the hope of the fans once more. So what we learned from this is that we should never, ever, 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 ever trust corporations to faithfully portray anything, ever. And you as the... Go ahead.
Go ahead, sorry.
You as the consumer should adopt at this point a zero tolerance policy for any of it. Far too often I see people hold their nose and consume content even though they know it's filled with propaganda, like the newest Spider-Man game and Baldur's Gate, where they're like, oh, it's not that much of it in there, I can still enjoy, and fucking Starfield, like they just like, and it's no wonder you have many people saying that the people who choose to ignore it are part of the problem, because the only thing it takes for evil to prosper is for good men to do nothing.
Exactly. Remember that fucking Alucard in Symphony of the Night said that at the for Christ's sake.
Yeah, it's true.
It is. That's why he kicked his dad's ass multiple times. OG Castlevania was so steep in lore. It's fucking wild, boy. I'm glad it was not touched. Thank God it was not touched.
It was kind of touched with the Netflix adaptations.
Well, it was, but not the actual games and their story. Thank God.
Vampires with fucking ebony skin, even though that again, yeah. I mean, I know there's Blade, but the original concept of a vampire was that like they were undead, so they got like stark white skin, not like fucking European like actual sheet white skin. But fuck that, I guess. I don't know why, because you can still have a black person as a vampire that gets like sheet white skin, and I don't know why people. I think Blade's deal is that like he was like birthed by a human woman, so I guess that I guess that's fine. I guess that makes sense. But for every other one, it really doesn't, because you're supposed to die when you become a vampire. So whatever. I would have to look into Blade's lore again, but I'm pretty sure there's a reason why he retained his melanin.
His mom was supposedly bitten by a vampire right before she gave birth to him, and he inherited half of the curse. He had inherited the undeath in a way that he didn't die. He was actually still born, but he was completely half breed. But later on, he found out his dad was actually a vampire. He was conceived as a Dhampir.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah, but he was born a Dhampir.
Okay.
It said that's been in ancient mythology. God, how long has the vampire mythology been around? Mesopotamia. They call it a certain type of Akimu or Adimu in Mesopotamia. They called it the Strigoi and some other variations in Romania. The Daco-Thracian precursors to the Romanians and Transylvanians. That was a whole other mythology there. It's all over the place. You had some kind of vampire equivalent everywhere in the world.
What's up, D-Live? How's it going?
Yeah, D-Live. Like in India, you had vampiric spirits one moment, but a variation of the species would eat shit, and it was in India.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another variety of vampiric being. They would possess their corpse or possess another person, and you could tell I went into a deep dive into this shit years ago, trying to remember it all.
I mean, folklore is interesting, so like it's
absolutely entertaining. It's like a trip you don't want to end, I suppose. But I've never done that kind of shit. I wouldn't know. I'm guessing. I won't even ask.
Oh God! For this next one,
I've done the Spleefman, but that was it.
Oh, you're good, Toasty. Nice to see you. For this next one, it's gonna involve the new Transformers show on. I forgot where it's on, but I literally just heard about this like an hour or so before the show, and I just had to talk about this. This actually kicked something else off the list. It was going to be the Silk article that came up, but this is fucking inexcusable. They've been trying to, well, not trying. They've been introducing non-binary and gender pronoun bullshit into the Transformers for a while. Like they did it in the comics too, and I guess now they're doing it for the TV shows. It says Transformers' first non-binary character sparks backlash. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even think this is true. Pretty sure there was another character before this, but who fucking cares? You know? It says children's TV show Transformers Earthspark has sparked controversy by introducing a new non-binary character. The animation series features a robot called Nightshade who says the word, that's not a word, that's a phrase, but whatever. He or she just doesn't fit who I am. I mean, these are fucking robots, so I would imagine that to be the case, but we all know that this is not what the fuck they mean. Anyway, and asks other characters to use they, them instead. The machine adds that the term non-binary is a wonderful word for a wonderful experience. Jesus fucking Christ. The episode comes amid an increasingly bitter social debate about the rights of transgender and non-binary people. Particularly,
Hey, are we talking about actual, treat them like human beings? Or are we talking, when a governor says, hey, if you try to groom or assault, sexually abuse kids, you get the death penalty, that it's supposedly infringing on your rights? Are we talking about that? Or are we talking about basic human rights being applied consistently?
we
You know
can
what
get,
I'm saying?
yeah, no, that's, I want to get into that too, but let's hold off for this next paragraph and a half.
All right.
Because there's Jesus Christ. Yeah, there's a can of worms to open there. The episode, I'll reread it. The episode comes amid an increasingly bitter social debate about the rights of transgender and non-binary people, particularly relating to their inclusion in women's sports and women-only spaces. Companies and brands who have advocated for the LGBTQ community in recent weeks have been hit by a pushback, such as beer brand Bud Light, which was engulfed in a social media firestorm due to a promotion it ran with transgender activist Dylan Mulvaney to celebrate her 1-year anniversary as a woman. The company was rocked by a huge backlash, which saw its share price plunge amid reports of a boycott by customers. It's in this febrile atmosphere that Transformers aired its own advocacy for non-binary people who identify as neither men nor women. And now, and yeah, kill me, exactly. And now we're gonna explore this. Fucking A, dude. Like, my head hurts just thinking about it. Like, this social debate about the rights of transgender and non-binary people. You don't have a right to be somewhere that other people don't want you. You don't. It's just what it is. Like, if you're to be excluded, like, again, this goes into another conversation about discrimination, but people selectively highlight the types of discrimination they don't like. You are discriminated against and in favor of in every human affair, like all of them.
At some point in your life, you're picking and choosing. You were taking a form of discrimination. Or giving it. That's why the notion of egalitarianism as its core falls apart. Remember, you got to remember, Murray Rothbard wrote an entire document and he titled it exactly as this: egalitarianism as a revolt against nature. Was it against nature or against the natural order? I forgot which one, but he still named it along those lines. That's the point. You are doing this at some point or another, though. You're discriminating for or against something all the time.
The problem with this entire idea here is that what does it have to do with the fucking Transformers? Why is this philosophy being injected into a show for children, by the way, about robots? Why would a fucking, I mean, we know, but this is a rhetorical question. Like, why the fuck would a robot give a fuck about pronouns and the concept of they, them? Why? You're a refugee from a fucking war-torn planet. Don't you have bigger problems than your fucking pronouns? You know what I mean? Like, what is this?
Yeah, especially if the core of the planet houses the god that created your kind, or deity figure, as you would call him. You know, Primus. He was the reason that the whole concept of the primes was a thing. And he resided inside the heart of Cybertron for fucking possibly billions of years.
Again, what does that have to do with non-binary?
Right.
What the fuck?
And you're trying to restore your home planet and get rid of the Deceptitrash or the Predacunts, you know, and you got a lot bigger issues to worry about than you should address me as okay.
I don't get it. Here depicted a model of the robot Optimus Prime, a Transformers character, at Comic-Con International in an undated photo. A new non-binary Transformer character has sparked a backlash. A viral clip of the show, which was shared online late last week with the caption, "They're after your kids," has now been shared more than 10,000 times. It shows a scene between a robot called Nightshade and a character called Sam. "My pronouns are they, them," the robot says to a cowering human character, who then relaxes, smiles, and replies, "Thanks, I'm she, they. I'm sorry for how I reacted. It's just sometimes the world can be a scary place. It's hard to know who's dangerous or not." The robot says, "That's true, though disappointing." Nightshade looks sad, and the human tries to comfort the robot by saying, "Hey, it's okay. I know I'm safe when I'm with my friends or other non-binary people."
Actually, no.
The robot asks,
you know what?
non-binary, and the human replies, "People who aren't female or male." The robot seems pleased and says, "I always knew my pronouns felt right, but what a wonderful word for a wonderful experience."
I'm going to say this now.
This is totally organic, guys. This isn't forced at all.
Yeah.
Fucking A, dude.
I got
a different clip thought to be from an earlier episode shows another human character telling a robot called Optimus Prime. Damn, I lost my place. Optimus Prime. Nightshade's pronouns are they, them. And Nightshade jumps in to add, "He or she just doesn't fit who I am." The other robot says, "My apologies, apparently, for almost misgendering the machine," and then refers to Nightshade as they. The storyline, which is thought to have begun in November but only recently gained widespread public attention, has polarized opinion and sparked fury amongst some commentators. Newsweek reached out to the show's original network, Paramount Plus, by email on Saturday to request a comment on the furor. On Friday, Fox host Laura Ingraham discussed the cartoon on her show, The Ingraham Angle. She said, "Now, as a parent, you often ask yourself, What do my kids need? But you probably never thought what they really, really need is a non-binary robot. That's exactly what Paramount thinks they need, because in Transformers Earthspark, that's what they're giving them. The series is made for kids ages 7 and up. The show is shoving these inane pronouns down the throats of 7-year-olds. These are destructive and corrosive lies, and they're only going to end when enough responsible adults say, cut it out. And Megyn Kelly retweeted a Transformers clip on Twitter with the caption, "This is disgusting."
They shouldn't say cut it out. They should start saying okay.
Several internet users were also furious at the development. One person wrote, "Don't let your children watch this filth." While another, I keep losing my place, I'm sorry. While another added, "So grateful my son is now grown and not subjected to this." Meanwhile, others objected to the human character's assertion. She knew she was safe with her friends or other non-binary people.
I take it back.
These lines, I can't read them without my head panging.
I said kill me.
One Twitter user pointed out, gender identification is not a foolproof method of determining safety. That's a dangerous idea. That's not even the half of it. What else is this fucking episode about? Like, do the Transformers actually do Transformers things? Or is this just a fucking episode about a propaganda robot? Do they fight Decepticons? Do they do anything that the Transformers are known for doing? 1 second, hang on.
Not.
I can't hear you, Wes. And I have no clue why I can't hear you.
I know I said kill me. No, I'll say something worse, because we're already past that level of cringe, and I'll die with no humility, with no dignity, and because even no dignity is better than this shit. Give me in hell.
For some reason, your audio wasn't coming through my headphones, so I'm just playing you through my speakers. I hope that's not picked up through the microphone. Toasty says she kind of already knew this would happen. I mean, it's already been happening. I don't think people from our side of the internet forgot about it, but the gay choir, you know, they literally had a part in the lyrics where they said, "We'll convert your children," and we were supposed to like play that off as some sort of joke, but it's not.
That started the trend. Okay, groomer.
This is the problem with things like this. What makes them think that a child is experienced enough to be able to parse out ideologies like this?
They can't. That's the thing. That's why, if you ever want to really get some stretch marks on your brain cells, then read Gail Rubin's Thinking Sex. If you don't, stay the fuck away from it. Guess who fucking read it?
Who read it?
Take a fucking guess.
What? Hitler? I don't fucking know who read
it. Fucking me, bruh. I was wanting to eat a cereal bowl of Tide Pods and bleach until I didn't open my eyes again after reading that shit.
Sorry guys, I had to mute myself so that it wasn't Wes. You can hear him through my laptop speakers because for some reason his audio wasn't coming through my headset. Yo, Wes, can you speak for me?
Hey, what about now? What about now? What about now? Oh fuck.
What?
Can you hear me still?
No, I can hear you. I'm just trying to make sure it's not coming through my mic so they can't hear it through the speakers. Wes is the definition of an intrusive thought. Facts. He absolutely is.
I mean that, but what's sad is the intrusive thoughts are directly related to this topic, and again, my brain cells are scarred, stretch marked. The
we'll
synapse
get
is
into
connecting them.
we'll get into why this is so disgusting after we get to the end of the article, because it has to do with children in this age group being basically incapable, or if they are capable, it's extremely fucking rare to even fathom and actually discern, like, consciously whether or not they want to adopt this, you know, like effectively. Like, anyway, let's see. Um, where did I leave off? I think this is where I left off. That's a dangerous idea. Let me pick up here where it says, however, not everyone was angered by the show's storyline. Some online commentators suggested it made sense that a metallic robot would have they them. No, it doesn't make any sense. A fucking robot wouldn't.
Hey, who? Let's see it. Let's make a game. Take a drink every time I feel justified saying the phrase "okay, groomer."
You know why this is especially retarded? Because if you understand programming language even a little bit, and as it pertains to robots, right? There's this thing called binary code. Ones and zeros. You know?
In an arrangement, actually, all sorts of arrangements. That's how you start the baselines of a multitude of different codes. They're just arrangements of massive collections of ones and zeros.
And you want to know something?
Go ahead.
They would try to deflect away from that by saying that the Allspark is some form of ancient technology that's borderline magical.
That's not the Allspark. The Allspark is the spark of Primus co-generating an alternate reality where the sparks of Transformers go when they die.
So is it not technological at all?
No, it's metaphysical and shit like that. It always was. Now, the Allspark as a technology piece, that didn't come up until the fucking Michael Bay movies.
Well, I was gonna.
It was an alternate reality, multiversal, metaphysical kind of thing before that.
I was gonna say that they'd argue that it's a form of ancient technology to the point where it's magic, or like it's basically this magical concept. But that's the thing. If you enter that territory, it can be argued that the likelihood of they them fucking pronouns being a part of it is nearly fucking impossible. Like this is clearly writer induced. This is propaganda induced. Like, absolutely. What are the fucking odds? Like, what are the odds of that? What are they? Like, it's ridiculous.
You would have to have all the worst things come to play in the exact order for the origins of this propagandism to even come about in order for this shit to even happen.
A metallic robot would have they them pronouns because they are machines. Robots are programmed by people. Most of them.
You got to realize we're engaging a hypothetical about like sapience and consciousness and shit, and we don't really have models of those. And I highly doubt we'll have them in our lifetime because there are philosophy of mind and philosophy of science conundrums that have to be answered before we can even make beginnings towards those type of modelings, in order to even see if we can stimulate them and make them emerge out of programming. Good fucking luck.
This isn't a concept that science can tackle. That's the thing. No one knows what
those philosophy problems are and why we can't tackle it fundamentally. And I'm not gonna lie, dude. This shit's been a trip, a massive trip. Just reading this shit. But those are the problems why science can't tackle it.
It hurts my fucking head. Guys, I'm sorry that I keep stopping in the middle of this shit, but this is brain rot, man. Like it hurts. It hurts me physically to read this shit. Yo, Noise, what's good? I played some of your beats on stream before we started. Please send more, bro. Please send more. They're dope.
Why ain't I heard from you in for fucking ever? That's a good question.
He's in a different server. And we can catch up with him after. Anyway, I'm gonna move on. Again, we'll give final thoughts on this article before I continue to the next one. Anyway, one sarcastically added that now kids are going to grow up thinking robots aren't born male and female. What if? Wow, wow,
oh my
wow.
God. They're Transformers are they're both born and built in a way because they're mechanical life forms with sparks. They're in a way they're born from the dimension of the Allspark, and in a sense they're built to house what their born form.
See, here's the thing.
They can interact with physical space and time and all that. That's kind of the fucking point of Transformers. That's what makes them unique. That's what made them fucking millions and billions of years old. That's what makes them resilient.
See, here's the thing, right? In an honest discussion, we'd be able to admit that the Transformers, robots, Decepticons, Dinobots, yada yada, are technically non-binary, right? But because it's attached to this propaganda, we have to resist it because that's not the kind of non-binary we're fucking talking about.
No,
what we mean is that they are technically a sexless species of robot that present in a binary form, but that's because that's the way we understand things as human beings, right? Like that.
And what they mean by non-binary goes back to queer theory. It has nothing to do with what technical talk here now.
No.
What they mean by non-binary goes to queer theory.
Yeah, like in an honest discussion, yeah, they are non-binary, but they present as male, most of them, right? But they are technically sexless. But again, they're trying to warp and pervert that, literally and figuratively, to meet their own ends, and it's ridiculous. And others said learning about non-binary people was an important lesson for children, with one mocking the angry comments online with the words, "The horror of teaching kids to show consideration of others." The sophistry knows no bounds. The sophistry knows no bounds, man. Other social media users didn't have an opinion either way and simply seemed to find the episode amusing. Several joked that the clue was in the name, with the show really putting the trans into this was a joke. This was a fucking joke. Oh my God. While one Twitter user added, "Pretty soon, until the cars aren't the only thing transforming on this show."
Oh my God.
TV shows and beer companies are not the only ones wading into the fraught culture war debate. Several big brands have also nailed their colors to the mast by advocating on behalf of the LGBTQ plus community in recent months. But, as Bud Light found, they run the risk of their campaigns backfiring. Target was also hit with a backlash after releasing a new clothing range in support of LGBTQ plus issues, including a t-shirt that bore the slogan, "Trans people will always exist." Whiskey maker Jack Daniels sparked anger after teaming up with 3 drag queens. That's what they put in the article. I didn't make Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't drink Jack Daniels. If I want real bourbon, I'll get a real bourbon. But I prefer Sazerac rye. Sazerac, don't you fucking dare pull this shit. Don't you fucking dare. You just bought ownership of the stills and the company Myers in Jamaica. Don't fuck it up for me. You made a good new product with the single barrel using your recycled Rye whiskey barrels when you bought it up. The moment, yeah, smart. Don't fuck it up and start pulling this grift shit like Jack Daniels.
I just wish they would release a shirt that said Jack Daniels what with a question mark.
Yes.
If you don't,
now the song Jack Daniels, if you please, knock me to my knees. It's a fucking innuendo now.
yeah. If you guys don't,
me.
if you guys don't get the joke I was setting up, you probably it's a good thing. Just don't think too hard about it.
It's a good thing. I got it. I fucking got it.
And chocolate maker Hershey's faced complaints in Canada over its decision to feature a transgender activist's face on special promotional wrappers on International Women's Day. Read more. Dylan Mulvaney says she's having trouble sleeping amid Bud Light scandal. Whatever. I'm not reading the rest of that.
Fuck no, don't.
The rest of the read mores. I will bookmark Newsweek because they seem to have some good articles. Let me do this really quick. Bookmark them and go back. Okay, so getting into the weeds of why, I already kind of alluded to it a little anyway, but getting into the weeds of why this is so gross is, I mean, again, this is a philosophy that you can't possibly expect children to understand, and it's clear and obvious brainwashing because there's no balance. There's no opposing view being shown to the kid. It's not being shown through a scientific lens or an objectivist lens of any kind, and it's not even attempting to make any sort of sense, right? Like at all.
It's straight up post-Marxian critical theory in the form of queer theory. And queer theory, from the works of Michael Foucault to the works of the inventor of Chicana feminism to Gail Rubin. There's a lot of child. Oh God, it makes me sick to even say the sexualization in those works. Queer theory founders wrote that into their shit to varying degrees. And it's not just the critical theorists that have done this. Charles Fourier, one of the last of the utopian socialists before the young Hegelians leading to Marx came along. He was honestly, guys, if you want a summary of this shit so I don't make myself want to fucking go punch a hole in a wall, go look up the 2 Aiden Paladin videos about lefty pedo advocacy. You'll get what I'm saying there, and there's a lot more on top of that, but just saying. Just go look that up. I'm getting more pissed. I got relatives and friends who were diddled as kids, and this pisses me off even bringing it up. It actually makes me furious. So go watch that. You'll learn a fucking lot more. And there's a couple James Lindsay videos from New Discourses. Look those fuckers up. If you want, I can link them. That's where this shit's coming from. Is inherently fucked.
I hate to end that on a joke, but Noy says I'm actually LGBT. Let's get bread today.
Christ.
What the fuck, Noy? Oh, that's.
This is unironic groomer shit as a philosophy in the name of a revolution. That is what this is. Fucking fundamentally. And you know what's worse?
It's hard to disagree with that at this point. To be completely honest with you,
and what's fucked even worse? Big corpos and their politician buddies have an incentive. You've heard of MK Ultra? You know what one of the findings are? Abuse victims are easier to control. See what I'm painting a picture of? See the puzzle pieces, fuckers? Yeah. And you wonder why SOROS donated fundings to these motherfuckers. But then when you point it out, you get gaslit as a conspiracy tard.
Moving on to our next topic from Fandom Pulse. We'll be talking about Madam Web and its recent its recent debut. We watched the trailer for this like weeks ago and forgot about it like we should have. But it says Madam Web posts 6 million box office opening day, worse than Morbius. That's saying a lot. That movie literally has its Morbin time in the movie.
That
Screams.
I couldn't stop. I winced and tee-hee-heed at the same time, but I still genuinely winced with that.
I was surprised that line was actually in the film. I had only seen the memes.
You saw only the memes, but you finally saw the film and you were like, Jesus.
No,
God.
I saw that one clip where he literally says it's Morbin time. I'm like, what the fuck? First of all, this is not how Michael Morbius is supposed to work. He's supposed to be genetically altered completely.
Yes.
Like, he cannot go back to being human. Like, at all. It's a tragic story. But of course they had to fuck that up. No reason. Just same reason they butcher everything else.
Right. They got that shit. They got that axe to fucking grind. Misanthropic fox.
Jesus. So, Madam Web has officially become the worst performing Sony film at the box office, earning 2 abysmal trophies for its effort. The first was officially dethroning Morbius as the worst received Sony superhero film, standing at 14% critic score and 44% audience score. How the fuck is the critic score lower than the audience score? Maybe that's because there's more audience members. Okay, that I guess that makes sense. You know?
I mean, look at Rotten Tomatoes when it comes to the film Cuties, and then look at the one where about the guy who was trying, the movie about the dude trying to expose the ring of that. Look at how rigged those ratings were on Rotten Tomatoes.
This was Metacritic though. The scoring system here is.
Oh, sorry, the Metacritic. My bad, not Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritic. But I've seen some wonky shit there too. It's been talked about by commentators. But Metacritic's the biggest, most egregious one.
Says, and the second is bringing in the lowest opening box office at just 6 million at the box office on its first domestic day. It almost feels unfair to compare Morbius to the unmitigated disaster that is Madam Web. Jared Leto at least seemed to have some fun playing the character of Morbius. Meanwhile, Dakota Johnson was so outraged by Madam Web that she fired her talent agency and went on to complain about the production of the film being a mess. Morbius screenshot from the famous Morbin time scene. Related, the Dark Herald does not recommend Madam Web. Madam Web had a budget of 80 million, and that doesn't include any of the marketing Sony dumped onto their latest trash fire. Morbius had a slightly smaller budget of just 75 million, and while universally panned, it did manage to bring in worldwide box office total of 167.5 million. And for those who believe Madam Web may find a way to crawl out of the financial hole and turn a profit, Morbius also brought in more than double Madam Web on its opening day box office with 17.3 million. To be honest with you, I think half of that is because this is a Spider-Man villain. So, I mean, of course, they put Spider-Man murals in the trailer, so of course people are going to be interested, right? So, yeah, key jangling succeeds. Madam Web is already under fire for changing Spider-Man's iconic "with great power comes great responsibility" line. I'm so glad I didn't fucking watch this film. In the film, she instead said, when you take on the responsibility, great power will come. What? The cast appeared desperate at the premiere, appearing in scandalous attire in order to try to distract from the film's contents with their near nude bodies on display. This wasn't in. Go ahead.
I had the perfect joke when you say power will come, and I had the perfect fucking joke for it.
Was it going to be Palpatine?
No.
Damn.
It's gonna...
Someone would
scream, the power will come, and all the whores run to the front.
Okay. This wasn't indicative of what was in Madam Web, as there wasn't very much of Sydney Sweeney to be viewed in a cheesecake manner to save the film. There are many reasons why Madam Web was destined to fail. The signs were apparent from the day the film was announced, and while it does have some talented actresses, they could not redeem the awful decisions made by the director and writers. The only real question that remains is how much lower can Madam Web fall? How do you think Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney's Madam Web will perform through the weekend? Leave a comment list. Who cares? That's the thing. There's been so many properties they've been trying to light with Marvel that apathy has set in down to the fucking bone. It's like a gangrenous limb. And it's spread throughout the whole body at this point. So, like, if you cut anything off, it might as well be the head. just go ahead and put it out of its misery. They're trying to do a Fantastic Four film, and out of desperation of trying to make some money, they actually made the first Marvel family white, like they're supposed to be. Does this raise my hope for the faithful portrayal of this film? Fuck no. I look forward to seeing it go down in flames. Shout out Human Torch. But anyway, let's see if they left any comments on this article. Oh, nope, none. Absolutely none. Well, if that's the case, we have time for another article. What's our show time at? We're only at an hour, 7 minutes. Let me bring up another one that I found, if that's the case. This is very rare. We almost never fucking have time for extra shit. Let's see. Let me dig through my personal notes real quick.
Pardon me, that was random.
Go ahead and paste this in here. Another one from Bounding in the Comics. A rumor about Amazon's Silk Spider Society acts entire writer's room. Spider-Man spinoff being retooled for male skewing audiences. I mean, I guess that's cool, but the thing with Silk as a character is that nobody asked for, and the birth of his character involved rewriting the origin story of the original Spider-Man. So, me personally, I don't really give a fuck. So the backstory of this character is she was bitten by the same spider that bit Peter Parker the day of the accident at the Science Museum. Which is a complete lie, because obviously she wasn't there, and whoever, I forgot her fucking name, Cindy Moon. Yeah, Cindy Moon doesn't exist in the Spider-Man mythos at all. She was just injected in there pretty much at the start of her comic run. But anyway, let's see how it happened. Silk swings into action on Elena damn it, these fucking names. Elena Casagrande's Women of Marvel variant cover to Silk, Volume 5, Number 1, The Midnight Monster, 2023 Marvel Comics. According to the latest whispers vibrating through the World Wide Web, Amazon's upcoming Silk Spider Society has cleaned out its writer's room in service of a massive, from the ground up retooling of the series' entire creative direction. More art. Produced by Sony Pictures Television in partnership with Amazon MGM, the series is set to follow the story of one Cindy Moon, a young woman with her own set of spider powers, who, per the series' official logline, escapes imprisonment and searches for her missing family on her way to becoming the superhero Silk. Notably, while its heroine's entire existence being closely tied to that of Spider-Man, she receives her powers from the very same radioactive arachnid which resulted in his origin and is freed from her underground prison. Actually a bunker meant to protect her from the Spider-Person eating villain, Morlun. Thanks to his help, whether or not the project would either establish a connection to or feature an appearance from the web slinger is currently unknown. Probably won't. Or probably use him as bait. All these characters just bite off the legacy of Peter Parker. Like, this is heresy, dude. Like, rewriting a character's origin story to shoehorn in some bullshit is a cardinal sin of comic book history, bro. And they did this to, of all characters, the Amazing Spider-Man. Do I even care enough to read this fucking comic panel? No. I'm gonna skip it. This is due to the fact that Sony, whose television division is in charge of this series, shares the film and television rights to Spider-Man with Marvel Studios. As such, any use of the web slinger is dependent on some level of agreement between the two, as seen with all of his appearances in the Marvel Cinematic Universe proper, and whether or not one has been reached in regards to Silk. Spider Society has yet to be confirmed or denied. Excitement is in the gutter, dude. Like, who genuinely cares about this Cindy Moon character? Genuinely. This character's not that fucking old. So anyone claiming to be a diehard fan of this character, they're probably fucking lying. Let's keep it a buck. You like a character that completely revamps the history of a far more popular character. It's like liking Souls-like games, but disliking Dark Souls. It doesn't make any fucking sense. I'm not even reading this art caption. Though it first entered full production in November 2022, the onset of the 2023 Writers Guild of America strikes resulted in the series being put on indefinite hold until the labor disputes eventually came to a close in September 2023. I wish they went on longer, honestly. Like, the only thing it did was prevent us from receiving more filth. Following the strike's conclusion, Deadline reports that, per their sources, the Silk Spider Society's writers' room had been looking to get back in the saddle sometime mid to late January 2023. However, if a recent report from entertainment news outlet The Ankler is to be believed, these plans for the writers' returns have instead turned into plans for a complete project restart. Relaying information provided to her by a supposed source, staff writer Elaine Lowe alleged that not only had the series recently let go of its entire writers' room, minus the showrunner Angela Kang, and one of the co-executive producers, Unspecified, despite them having already written several episodes, but that it was also being refocused with a more male-skewing audience in mind, a la Reacher, Jack Ryan, and The Terminal List, all three of which have been some of Amazon's most popular streaming offerings. When reached by Lowe, Amazon had offered no comment on her scoop. Again, I don't know what they plan to do, because none of this shit is being made for comic book fans anymore. So I wonder who their audience is going to be. It's not going to be people like me. People like me have no fucking interest in Cindy Moon. We weren't interested in her at all. Nothing about her is exciting, and nothing about her is anything we haven't seen from Mayday Parker or Jessica Drew. Like, she's just a female spider person. Yep. An Asian female spider person. That's it. There's not really anything interesting about her, like, at all. Alongside Silk, Spider Society, Lowe reports that Amazon is also making moves on their previously announced Spider-Man Noir series, having entered negotiations with the Heroes Into the Spider-Verse voice actor Nicolas Cage to reprise the role in live action. I'm not gonna lie to you, don't really like Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir. and you would understand me if you played Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions and heard the voice actor for Peter Porker from that noir universe. It featured a younger Spider-Man with a more Brooklyn style accent, and it felt way more organic than Nicolas Cage's portrayal. But whatever. This is a side character anyway from a different universe that very few people cared about. It's a cool idea, but honestly, I think it would get more mileage if they used a different character because it'd be original, but whatever. Further, these two series are only two of the multiple live-action Spider-Man spin-offs currently in the works at Amazon. Let's keep it a buck, G. It's copying a whole backstory of what happened to original backstories. I mean, it doesn't technically copy it, it just alters it, which her backstory is literally within Peter's backstory.
Yeah.
Which, again, fucking sin. Like, well, why? Let me reread that. Further, these two series are only two of the multiple live-action Spider-Man spinoffs currently in the works of it at Amazon, though as of writing, the company is keeping the identities of their other projects tightly under wraps. Not really about to read this shit. It's just her showcasing what she can do with her powers. Oh, that's the end of the article. 44 comments. We're not going to read all of them, but I'm going to go through them. No. Pat Gray C says, yet another Spider-Man adjacent without Spider-Man production. Sigh. Although the Spider-Man Noir one could be goofy fun if they get Nicolas Cage. That's the thing. I don't want goofy fun from Spider-Man Noir. It's supposed to be in the fucking Prohibition era with Italian mobsters.
Like a lot of that implications in the damn, title. Spider-Man Noir, right? Come on.
I don't want goofy fun from that fucking motif. It's black and white. What's it called? Hard-boiled noir. I don't want that shit. I don't want goofy fun. We've been focusing entirely too fucking much on goofy fun. It would be nice to have something serious for once. Fax replies with, this is the worst offender. Silk's story was almost directly linked to Peter. I mean, it is directly linked. It's the same spider. We can verify she literally didn't exist. But, whatever. Nanashi says, Spider-Man Noir is, or at least was, just an alternate version of Peter. And I will say that, I said it once and I'll say it again. The Spider-Verse idea was far better when they were simply alternate versions of Peter Parker. The same arguments still persisted in that it's unoriginal and that there's no need for them, but at the very least, they were just alternate versions of Peter Parker, with some exceptions like Miguel O'Hara. But he's so far into the future that it doesn't matter because they don't use him to try and replace Peter, because they literally have him be the focal point of the 2099 future. Like, they're researching his cells and they document his death as a superhero. And Miguel is actually one of the scientists that works directly on the project, and he ends up being the only person who actually replicates the spider powers, not perfectly because it's altered a bit, but still, like, it's done. I would say it's done properly, but again, I always say this too, if I had a choice between maintaining the continuity and integrity of Peter Parker and having the original two from the Clone Saga and Miguel O'Hara, I would choose the first one, the former. Yeah, the former. I think I mentioned Pete first. I would choose the former.
Yep. Same.
Dua Lipa is hot, says. Know your audience. I think Silk could work, but maybe as an end, no. Nope. You already lost me. This character could not work at all. Like, maybe it could but it would be made for fucking normies. It wouldn't be made for comic book fans. I think Miss Marvel could work as a kid's show. I'm not really trying to hear any of this comment. You can build characters organically to make them a part of a greater universe. Going whole hog directly into massive budget movies or TV shows is probably not the way to introduce lesser known characters. I don't think Miss Marvel will ever be popular. It's hard enough as it is to get a female character popular, but female character as poorly thought up as Miss Marvel might as well go with Squirrel Girl. Lord, I've had enough of these comments. Be completely honest.
Won't lie, I feel the same.
Yeah.
It's just more bullshit.
I would definitely sell. Wait a minute. What did he say? I would definitely sell her some Dua Lipa. What the fuck?
Christ.
What does that mean?
Dua Lipa, isn't that a fucking singer? Oh yeah, it's a fucking singer.
Yeah, it's a singer.
I like the song Let's Get Physical, but you know, she's a fucking feminist commie.
Wow. That's a shame. It's a shame.
It is very shameful. But like the old memes about Thomas Sowell and the social studies.
Well, I mean, his West Noise. Yo, West Noise asks, "Are you red pill?"
Some ways, yes. Some white pill and others. I don't agree with, but I also don't agree with the entirety of the red pill movement. It's been fucking co-opted by fucking manosphere grifters, and you know that's already a glow term in itself. Yeah, I've taken the red pill and the white pill, technically.
Well, all right. Well, as usual, gaming in the box office is on life support, and we do this to report what's going on with it on a weekly basis. It's just that I couldn't do it during the week this time because I just got swamped with a bunch of shit to do. I mean, I just wish there were more exciting topics to talk about. You know, I'm gonna have to dig for some more positive things too, just to provide our not even necessarily positives, just like alternatives that people can actually watch and stomach without having to deal with all the propaganda that's been seeped into it. You know.
Yeah. What's funny is Noise said, "I only asked because the hair is red pilling me, and I wonder what the fuck he means by that."
I have no fucking idea what that means at all. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, you see, I shaved my beard off. I had issues, obviously, and well, yeah, guys, if you watched the Monkey's Paw previous episodes, I'm still a bit congested, but I'm not as bad as I was at the start of January. I got both the flu and viral gastroenteritis. I got both at the same time. I wanted someone to shoot my ass. That was horribly, it was miserable. Basically, that caused some gut biome fuckery and caused my dandruff to come back. I don't like the idea of dandruff being combed out of my beard or falling into my fucking food. You know, disgusting. So I did the unfortunate sacrifice, and I shaved it. The gold and red magnificence is gone.
That sucks.
Yeah, but it's whatever.
Well, that's all our topics for the night. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and start digging up some articles for next week. Hopefully, I can find something that actually points you guys in the directions of some shows that are actually good. Like I heard Reacher was pretty good. I've actually been watching some of it. It's actually pretty nice. Have no idea about the new season of Rick and Morty at all. I heard more episodes came back. Don't tell me anything. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
I'm just saying I get mixed feelings already about it.
And whatever games are dropping that actually look interesting, I want to talk about those a little bit too. But
Yes.
I mean, this has been your episode of the Monkey Paw. See you guys next week. This has been your gracious host, Kaine Walker, and his co-host, West Po Boy Savage. And we will see you all again next time. Peace.
Take care, everybody. Peace.